Long ago, in the ancient lands of southern India, there stood a magnificent city known as Mahilaropium. Its towering palaces, bustling marketplaces, learned scholars, fearless warriors, and unimaginable wealth made it a kingdom unlike any other. This prosperous realm was ruled by a wise and powerful king, Amarashakti. His name was spoken throughout the kingdom with the deepest respect and admiration. King Amarashakti was renowned not only for his valor, but also for his extraordinary wisdom. He was a master of many arts and branches of knowledge and governed his people with great compassion and discernment. Under his noble reign, the kingdom flourished as never before, blossoming in prosperity, peace, and grandeur.
Yet, despite all his glory and achievements, King Amarashakti carried a deep sorrow in his heart. The reason was his 3 sons, the princes Bahushakti, Ugrashakti, and Anantashakti. Unlike their wise and learned father, none of the 3 princes had the slightest interest in education or learning. Books bored them. The lessons of their teachers felt like a burden. They cared little for wisdom, responsibility, or the duties of ruling a kingdom. Instead of studying, the princes spent their days wandering through the palace halls, indulging in childish amusements and mischief, wasting their time in idleness and sloth.
As the years passed, King Amarashakti's worry grew heavier with each passing day. One evening, unable to bear his anguish any longer, he summoned all his ministers to the royal court. Slowly, the king rose from his throne. His face bore the weight of deep sorrow and disappointment. In a solemn voice, he began to speak. "My ministers, you already know how ignorant my sons have become. They possess neither wisdom nor discipline, nor any understanding of the world. Knowing that the future of this great kingdom rests in such irresponsible hands, how can I truly take joy in all its glory?" After a brief pause, the king recalled an ancient proverb. "Of the 3, a son never born, a son who has died, and a foolish son. The first 2 are the kinder fate, for they bring sorrow but once. A foolish son, however, wounds his parents' hearts for as long as he lives. What use is a cow that gives no milk and bears no calf? In the same way, what joy can a son bring if he possesses neither wisdom nor virtue?" The court fell silent as his words echoed through the hall. At last, with helplessness in his eyes, the king looked upon his ministers and said, "Therefore, I ask you tonight, search your hearts and the wisdom of the sacred texts you have studied. Is there still a way to bring the light of knowledge into my sons' lives?"
At that moment, an elderly minister stepped forward, his face marked with concern. "Your Majesty, true education is not gained in a day. It takes many years of devoted study. To master grammar alone may require 12 long years, and beyond that lie the studies of statecraft, economics, righteousness, philosophy, and jurisprudence. A lifetime itself may not be enough to attain complete knowledge." Hearing these words, the king's heart sank. If wisdom demands so many years, what hope remains for my sons now? He wondered in despair.
Another minister stepped forward. His name was Sumati. Unlike the others, he spoke with remarkable calmness and unwavering confidence. "Your Majesty, human life is short, but the ocean of knowledge is boundless. If we rely only on traditional methods of education, many precious years will pass. But perhaps there is another path, a simpler and wiser one." The king leaned forward with great interest as he listened. "There lives a venerable Brahmin scholar named Vishnu Sharma. He is a master of the practical sciences and is revered by countless disciples for his wisdom. He does not merely teach from books, he teaches the art of living itself. If there is anyone who can transform the undisciplined and stubborn minds of the princes, it is he alone. Without a moment's hesitation, the king declared, "Send the royal chariot at once. Bring Vishnu Sharma to the palace today."
A short while later, the great doors of the royal court slowly swung open. An elderly Brahmin scholar of immense renown entered the magnificent hall. Time had turned his hair silver, but his face radiated the brilliance of wisdom. There was humility in his bearing, yet he walked with the quiet majesty of a lion. Though he was nearly 80 years of age, his eyes remained sharp, shining with the flame of pure knowledge. King Amarashakti descended from his lofty throne and bowed respectfully before the venerable sage. With folded hands, he humbly pleaded, "Revered master, I beseech you, please guide my sons and grant them the gift of true learning. Teach them righteousness, the values of life, the qualities of noble leadership, and the path of virtuous conduct. If you do this for me, I shall remain forever indebted to you. I pledge, in the presence of this august assembly, to gift you 100 prosperous villages, free from all taxes, in gratitude for your noble service."
Hearing the king's offer, Vishnu Sharma merely smiled, a serene smile, yet one filled with unshakable resolve. The venerable scholar looked directly into the king's eyes, and when he began to speak, his voice did not carry the frailty of an 80-year-old man. It resounded through the grand stone pillars of the palace like the roar of a lion. "Your Majesty, listen carefully to my words and place your trust in them, for I speak nothing but the truth. I do not sell my knowledge for wealth, nor do I seek worldly riches. I have lived nearly 80 years, and I have long since mastered my worldly desires. To me, your 100 villages are worth no more than a blade of grass." Raising his voice, he continued, "But hear my solemn vow. Record this very day in your royal chronicles. Within just 6 months, if I fail to make your 3 sons masters of wisdom, virtue, and righteous conduct, I shall renounce my name forever. And if I am unable to awaken their minds within that time, may I be denied a place in heaven itself."
The entire palace fell silent. A breathless hush descended upon the royal court. The king and his ministers looked at one another in astonishment. What even the greatest scholars could not accomplish in 12 long years, this venerable sage had vowed to achieve in merely 6 months. This was no ordinary teacher. Before them stood a great master, one who possessed absolute faith in the power of his wisdom and the brilliance of his teaching. With the deepest reverence, King Amarashakti entrusted his 3 sons to Vishnu Sharma's care, and for the first time in many years, a new light of hope dawned in the king's heart.
Vishnu Sharma led the princes away from the luxuries of palace life and brought them to the serenity of his forest hermitage. The princes had expected long lectures and the study of difficult and ancient texts, but Vishnu Sharma had chosen a very different path. One evening, beneath the shade of a great banyan tree, he gathered the young princes around him. Then, in a voice that was warm, gentle, and inviting, he began to speak. "Come, my young princes, I shall not burden you with dry lessons and endless teachings. Instead, I will tell you stories of lions and jackals, of wise crows and foolish turtles, and of the timeless wisdom hidden within them." The princes listened with growing curiosity, and thus the Panchatantra was born. Vishnu Sharma arranged his teachings into 5 great books of wisdom. Together, they came to be known as the Panchatantra, the 5 principles.
The first tantra is Mitra Bheda, the loss of friendship. It reveals how lies, deception, and cunning can shatter even the strongest of bonds.
The second tantra is Mitra Labha, the gaining of friends. It teaches the timeless value of unity, mutual trust, and wise companionship, and how true friends can save us even from the jaws of death.
The third tantra is Kakolukyam, the tale of the crows and the owls. It is a masterful guide to strategy, teaching the principles of war and peace, diplomacy, and how one must deal with long-standing adversaries.
The fourth tantra is Labdha Pranasham, the loss of what has been gained. It warns us how success, wealth, and power earned through years of effort can be destroyed in a single moment of folly.
And the fifth tantra is Aparikshita Karakam, the consequences of acting without thought. It teaches us the dangers of making blind decisions driven by anger, haste, or misunderstanding without first seeking the truth.
And so it has been said, whoever studies these teachings in their entirety, or even listens to them with an open mind and a sincere heart, shall never truly know defeat. Even if challenged by Indra, the mighty king of heaven himself, such a person shall remain unconquered. Thus began the immortal and timeless journey of the Panchatantra, a treasury of wisdom that has guided generations across the ages. In our next story, we shall begin with the first Tantra, Mitra Bheda, the tale of friendship, betrayal, and the consequences of discord between friends.